Morning. Today we're going to do some changing the subject of formula where we've got to do a little bit of factorising on the way. So here we've got a problem. We've got to make x the subject of the formula, and we've got x both sides of the equation. So let's have a quick think about what we're doing. We're doing all our BIDMAS rules backwards, and we're using inverse operations. And it's just sort of a bit like when we're doing solving equations with x both sides. We're trying to get rid of the smallest x, but I don't know which is the smallest x in this case, so it's not too much of a problem. The trick is going to be to get the terms with x on the same side of the equation and the terms that don't have x in them on the other side, and that's called isolating x. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And the first thing we're going to do is we'll get rid of that b. So it says plus b, we'll do minus b. That's going to leave us with x is ax plus c take b. And then we need to get this ax with his buddy, so that's a positive ax. We're going to do take away the ax. So that's going to leave us with x take away ax is c take away b. Now the trick here, and this is where a lot of people get a little bit stuck, is that we need to factorise at this point. So we're going to take the x out. So I've got x out of the bracket. 1 take away a is c take away b, and then the next step is going to be, well, we'll divide through by the bracket, so I sort of shortcut it by doing that. That's my working line. So we end up with x is c take away b, 1 take away a, and of course we don't really need the bracket once it gets on the right hand side. Okay, so you want to pause the video and have a go at the U do on the right hand side, and then we'll have a go at it together and see if I can do it properly. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go. Now this one's a little bit more tricky in the sense that we've got a minus x. So remember what I was saying, what we're going to want to be doing here is thinking about which is going to be the smallest x, and we're going to want to isolate all the x terms and all the non-x terms. So, I mean, strictly speaking, I don't know which is the smallest x, but I can make an assumption that the minus x is going to be smaller than the ax, the positive ax, although that may not be true. So what do we do? It says minus minus x. We're going to add the x to both sides, which is going to leave us with b is ax plus x plus c. Now I want to get rid of that c, and we've got all our terms in the right place. B takes c is ax plus x. Now we need to do a little bit of factorising. So we are going to leave that bit alone, but we'll factorise the x out like that. And then, like before, we'll divide through by the bracket. Divide through by the bracket. Divide through by the bracket. Which is going to give us b minus c a plus 1 course we don't really need the bracket once we get on that side. There's our x, and we give it a bit of a switcheroony, because I usually like to have the subject on the left hand side. Okay, now that is essentially what you are going to end up with. Now if you hadn't done moving the smallest x first, and you'd try to keep the x on this side, and you'd ended up with a minus x and all sorts of negative things, you would have ended up with c minus b minus 1 minus a is equal to x, which is true. It's just very, very untidy. So if you had a question whereby you are kind of given the answer, and the answer looks like this, and you end up doing something and ending up with something like this, you just need to recognize that you've done it right. What you just need to do is multiply the whole fraction by minus 1. Okay, so that's going to be c times, that's a minus c, negative c times 1, that's a positive b, so I'm going to end up with positive b, take away c, and then multiply at the bottom part of the fraction. Well, minus a times minus 1 is a, sorry, minus a times minus 1 is a, and minus 1 times minus 1 is positive 1, like that. And we end up with the thing that we want to have. But like I say, if you're thinking it properly through at the start and you move the smallest x first, then you don't have to faff around with that extra step at the end.